Welcome, everyone. Dr. Mike DeBoard, president of B3 Sciences, excited to share with you the new way to exercise for heart health with BFR and specifically B3 bands. Let's get right into what is the most important thing you can do. Well, the number one killer in the world is heart disease. And people who don't get vigorous exercise are twice as likely to get heart disease. I'm talking about high blood pressure, which leads to ischemic heart disease. Then it can lead to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and hardening of the arteries and atherosclerosis, and God forbid a clot or a stroke or a heart attack. Look what the American Heart Association says, and pay attention to one word here. 150 minutes of vigorous physical activity per week. They talk about aerobic, and they also talk about strength training. So look at those two pictures to the right, okay? That girl is not going for a walk, okay? This isn't a walk the dog, play a little pickleball, do 20 minutes of yoga. That is not going to cause an adaptive response in your heart. And unless you're lifting heavy weights, you're also not going to create that. Vigorous, which they talk about and Harvard talks about, is not light exercise, which most people do. Now, why is this important? Because as you age and you get into your middle 20s, your natural release of growth hormone is cut in half. So you got all this growth hormone when you're young and everything's fine. We get in our middle 20s, we're getting half the growth hormone. By the time we're in our 40s, we're getting less than 20%. And your metabolism slows down, and then all these things start to happen. If you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you may see it. Early aging signs, body composition changes, arthritis in your joints, cardiovascular disease, cognitive brain degenerative problems, bone density, blood sugar, thyroid. All of these things are happening in people who do not exercise way sooner than they should. You should not see these things, any of these, until you're in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then it should be mild forms of these, not things like we have today. What is vigorous exercise? Well, look at those pictures. It's banging the ropes. It's running the stadium stairs. It's CrossFit. It's feeling the burn. Here's what you need to know about exercise and why this is a breakthrough. If you go do any exercise and you don't feel the burn in your muscles, I'm telling you, you're spinning your wheels because you're not going to produce lactic acid, which is that wonderful burn that's so intoxicating, you get addicted to it, right? That runner's high, that lifting high. But if you don't get the burn, for a minimum 4 to 10 minutes, you're not going to change. And you're not going to get any nitric oxide and growth hormone. The two most powerful substances in the world. Let me repeat this. Nitric oxide sitting in your cardiovascular system, growth hormone sitting in your brain, in your pituitary gland, are the two most powerful substances ever, and it cannot be refuted, and they're sitting right in your human body. And look, you know the difference. You know what happens if you walk a couple laps around the track and you go run the stadium stairs. Big difference. You're not going to get lean and mean walking around the track, but you run those stadium stairs and feel the burn, boom. Do a little Zumba class, whole different ball game than banging the ropes in a 45-minute CrossFit class. And heavy weights versus light weights, big difference. Very simple. The people on the left and most people who exercise aren't producing lactic acid. Why? Because it's too hard and it takes too much time and it's high intensity and it hurts and you're sore the next day and you're sweaty, right? And maybe you got to go to a gym and have a trainer, which is all great. Keep doing that. But what if you could do high intensity exercise that was easy, 5-10 minutes, didn't hurt, and elevated your growth hormone and nitric oxide? Well, now you can. And 25,000 people, actually closing in on 25,000 people in the United States, are already doing it thanks to B3. And we have over 20 countries around the world, like Australia and Panama, that are on tonight, that are already doing it. How's it work? You put these bands on your arms and legs. They're this flexible, easy to put on cuff that's patented by B3 Sciences and Be Strong, and you put a little air in it. It's a gentle squeeze. Now, it's not a blood pressure cuff. Doesn't cut off blood flow. It's safe for people who can do regular exercise, and most people can do this. There's very few contraindications. But why does it make it so easy? Because when you put a little air in it, it slows down your blood flow. And I'm going to do a demonstration before we exercise. What does that do? It dramatically reduces how long you have to work out. Imagine 4 minutes, quick workout, 20 minutes, your longest. 20 minutes, your longest workout. Imagine light weights or no weights. Imagine no pain or soreness ever. Imagine that you could do this from anywhere and then elevate two most powerful substances in your body, nitric oxide and growth hormone, which many people, well, actually 95, 98% of people go through their whole life and they waste this. Not only do they not get it, you waste it. It's like leaving money on the table for the maid to come take, right? It's like leaving half your food on your plate. When you don't access these things, you're leaving money on the table for your health. What if you could go for a walk for 10 minutes a day? What if you didn't need 45 minutes of cardio? What if you could go up and down the steps, get on a bike, get on a treadmill, get on an elliptical, go for a swim? Yep, the bands are waterproof. And in 5 minutes, get a workout that would stimulate this change in your body. What if you never had to lift heavy weights? What if you could use light weights or this exercise tubing? We even send you all the resistance you need. And what we're going to do tonight, you don't even need weights. We're going to show you a workout called 4-minute legs. And guess what else we got? We got a 3-minute arms workout. Let me explain this to you. Imagine on Monday you do 4-minute legs. Tuesday you do 3-minute arms. Wednesday you take a break. Thursday you do 4-minute legs. Friday you do 3-minute arms. You take another break. And every 2 out of 3 days you work out for 5, maybe 10 minutes. You don't even change your clothes, and your body changes like you were in the gym for 45 minutes. If you can imagine that, then you now understand why so many people are excited about this. We are the safety company. We pioneered this industry. B3 Sciences, our bands have safety studies showing they do not increase pressure in your cardiovascular system, and they don't reduce oxygen to the heart. And we're the only company that's ever done that. It's because of our patent design. And we're not going to talk about it tonight, but this is why so many NFL teams, Olympic teams, celebrities, famous doctors are using the B3 BFR bands. Now, what happens to your heart when you do vigorous exercise? Well, the first thing that happens is your muscles start running out of oxygen because you're using up oxygen, and you feel a light, wonderful burn in your muscles. And you all know what it feels like. You all know it's good stuff. But inside your body, your cardiovascular system is releasing nitric oxide. It's sitting right in your blood vessels. You don't have to eat beets for this stuff. It's sitting right there, the kind you need. And when you do vigorous exercise or light exercise, like Ocean's doing right there, and you feel the light burn, you get a release of nitric oxide, which immediately thins your blood, reduces blood pressure, dilates the blood vessels, increases blood flow to all of your tissues, and it starts to remodel your blood vessels. Ever heard of a thing called hardening of the arteries? Or venous compliance, where your veins aren't working in your legs and you can't get the blood to come back? Nitric oxide helps those by causing the cardiovascular system to adapt. And here's an actual picture from the study that's posted on our website. Next, growth hormone. Nitric oxide, you get that right when you exercise. But if you continue in the burn for just 3 minutes, I'm going to show you how to do it tonight, where you feel the burn, you just stay in that burn for a few minutes. After exercise, you get a big release of growth hormone. And look what all of our prestigious universities and scientific institutions agree on. Exercise-induced growth hormone can reverse the manifestations of aging by 5 to 15 years. There's no other single therapy currently available that can have the impact on aging and weight loss and bone density and cardiovascular health and thyroid health that growth hormone can have. Look at this study. This is a study on middle-aged men exercising normal, and then putting BFR bands on like B3 bands. 25 times increase in growth hormone. Now, let me put this in perspective for you. Most of you have never seen a growth hormone release like this. Never seen it. Most people go through their whole lives and don't get this. Imagine getting this 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 6, 7 days a week. Growth hormone levels that are typically reserved for bodybuilders, Olympic level athletes. You would start to see major changes. We're going to hear from somebody tonight who's seen that. Let's go back to nitric oxide. In addition to the cardiovascular benefits, you get oxygen everywhere. So this nitric oxide comes and you get that runner's high. You get some endorphins and oxytocin, and it's just intoxicating. You have energy. You do this in the morning for 2 or 3 minutes, and you will blow through your day like you drank 10 cups of coffee. It increases brain power, increases blood flow to organs, and increases performance. And now, what do the studies say? Well, without scientific study, how can anybody say, follow the science? Well, I'm here to tell you, all you've got to do is follow the science on blood flow restriction training. In this study, and by the way, these are all posted on the website for you to review, our findings suggest that BFR training may be effective in lowering blood pressure during exercise. This data has potential application in the management of hypertension and should be further investigated in patients with high blood pressure. So all these people that have high blood pressure are thinking, oh, I can't do this. Well, this study says, yeah, this is exactly what you should be doing, because this is how you strengthen and make your heart younger. How about ischemic heart disease? What's that? That's when the heart can't pump blood and supply its own tissues. So you've got all these arteries going and veins going around your heart to fuel it so it keeps pumping. And people get heart disease, they start to get blockage, and they can't fuel their own heart. This is danger. This study shows that low-intensity BFR training in people with ischemic heart disease resulted in increased muscle strength and mass, as well as endurance or VO2 max improvement. Their aerobic capacity went up. It concludes that BFR is a promising and effective method for cardiac rehabilitation, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and muscle loss. This is where the lungs can no longer get enough blood flow due to the damage and the scarring. BFR appears to be a potential management for increasing strength and muscle mass for people who have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease when high-intensity exercise cannot be tolerated. Who can't tolerate high-intensity exercise? 98% of the population. Let's go back. If you could do vigorous high-intensity exercises, you would dramatically, if not eliminate, your chances for heart disease. And one more thing. I had a doctor today in Panama that was so excited, and he said, Dr. Mike, is there anything on venous insufficiency or flow in the legs? I said, you bet there is. Look at this study. Here's the challenge with our veins in our legs, everyone. Most people cannot do vigorous exercise, which maintains what's called venous compliance, the ability for the veins to open and close and the valves to work. In this study of walking, leg venous compliance increased significantly only in the group doing the BFR, which means if you go for a walk, had no effect. Oh, but if you put the bands on and you go for a walk and you feel the burn, you release nitric oxide and growth hormone. Let's summarize how BFR affects heart health. Breakthrough allows anyone to safely do light exercise. When you put the bands on, it slows down the returning blood flow out of the muscle, which reduces the available oxygen and reduces the amount of time you have to work out or do light exercise. Imagine 4 minutes up to 20 minutes, light weights or no weights, exercising from anywhere, no pain or soreness, and naturally promoting and releasing surges of nitric oxide and growth hormone. As we talked about, B3 Sciences is the only company that's conducted safety studies that show when the B3 bands are on, there's no increased arterial pressure because of the patented design, and there's no increased oxygen demand at the heart, making them the safest BFR bands on the market today. And when you join as a customer or a consultant, you're going to get free lifetime coaching. This is important because we'll send you videos on how to apply the bands, how to pump them up, how to exercise, and special tips. And then anytime you have any questions, simply email us and we will assist you in getting maximal results with your BFR bands. If you've got any questions, reach out to us at support@b3sciences.com. And after watching this video, if you are on the actual heart health page of our website, I want you to scroll down underneath this video box and you will see all the scientific studies that I'm referencing so that you can review for yourself and even share with your health professional or your doctor. Well, I want to thank you for watching this exciting video. And if you've watched this today and you know other people who might have some early or even advanced cardiovascular disease, reach out to them and share with them this new technology, which might be a great alternative for them to also improve heart health. And as always, we want you to be healthy, be fit, and be strong.